Keep your eyes and your heart open. Aliens are among us and are waiting to encounter you.
You are listening to Mystery Media Group.
Yay!
On February 25th, 1942, an infamous false alarm saw American military units unleash a torrent of anti-aircraft fire in the skies over Los Angeles. It became known as World War II's Bizarre Battle of Los Angeles, or the Great Los Angeles Air Raid, and is a fascinating event in our country's history. Good evening. I'm Elva with Elva's Alien Encounters, and tonight I will relate the details of one of the most speculated potential UFO alien invasions on U.S. soil. And now on with episode 4. In the frantic weeks that followed the Pearl Harbor attack, many Americans believed that enemy raids on the continental United States were imminent. On December 9, 1941, unsubstantiated reports of approaching aircraft had caused a minor invasion panic in New York City and sent stock prices tumbling. On the West Coast, inexperienced pilots and radar men had mistaken fishing boats, logs, and even whales for Japanese warships and submarines. Tensions were high, and they only grew after U.S. Secretary of War Henry Stimson warned that American cities should be prepared to accept occasional blows from enemy forces. Just a few days later, on February 23, 1942, a Japanese submarine surfaced off the coast of Santa Barbara, California, and hurled over a dozen artillery shells at an oil field and refinery. While the attack inflicted no casualties and caused only minor damage, it marked the first time that the mainland United States had been bombed during World War II. The day after the oil field raid, paranoia and itchy trigger fingers combined to produce one of the most unusual home front incidents of the war. It began on the evening of February 24, 1942, when naval intelligence instructed units on the California coast to steel themselves for a potential Japanese attack. All remained calm for the next few hours, but shortly after 2 a.m., on February 25th, military radar picked up what appeared to be an enemy contact some 120 miles west of Los Angeles. Air raid sirens sounded and a citywide blackout was put into effect. Within minutes, troops had manned anti-aircraft guns and began sweeping the skies with searchlights. It was just after 3 a.m. when the shooting started. Following reports of an unidentified object in the skies, troops in Santa Monica unleashed a barrage of anti-aircraft and .50 caliber machine gun fire. Before long, many of the city's other coastal defense weapons had joined in. Powerful searchlights from countless stations stabbed the sky with brilliant probing fingers, the Los Angeles Times wrote, while anti-aircraft batteries dotted the heavens, beautiful, if sinister, orange bursts of shrapnel. Chaos reigned over the next several minutes. It appeared that Los Angeles was under attack, yet many of those who looked skyward saw nothing but smoke and the glare of anti-aircraft fire. Imagination could have easily disclosed many shapes in the sky in the midst of that weird symphony of noise and color, Coastal Artillery Colonel John J. Murphy later wrote. But cold detachment disclosed no planes of any type in the sky, friendly or enemy. For others, however, the threat appeared to be very real. Reports poured in from across the city describing Japanese aircraft flying in formation, bombs falling, and enemy paratroopers. There was even a claim of a Japanese plane crash landing in the streets of Hollywood. Quote, "I could barely see the planes, but they were up there all right," close quote. A coastal artilleryman named Charles Patrick later wrote in a letter, quote, "I could see 6 planes and shells were bursting all around them. Naturally, all of us fellows were anxious to get our 2 cents worth in, and when the command came, everybody cheered like a son of a gun." Close quote. The barrage eventually continued for over an hour. By the time a final all-clear order was given later that morning, Los Angeles' artillery batteries had pumped over 1,400 rounds of anti-aircraft ammunition into the sky. It was only in the light of day that the American military units made a puzzling discovery. There appeared to have been no enemy attack. Although reports were conflicting and every effort is being made to ascertain the facts, It is clear that no bombs were dropped and no planes were shot down, read a statement from the Army's Western Defense Command. So what caused this shootout over Los Angeles? The Japanese military later claimed it had never flown aircraft over the city during World War II, providing fuel for a host of bizarre theories involving government conspiracies and visits by flying saucers and extraterrestrials. As early as the 1970s, the idea that an extraterrestrial invasion was responsible for setting off the Battle of Los Angeles began to circulate in the UFO community. Many used the LA Times doctored photo as proof, along with the fact that the floating object had appeared immune to gunfire. According to Skeptoid podcast host Brian Dunning, the conspiracy theories really ramped up in 1987 when the now discredited Majestic 12 documents were released. One of them appeared to be an official government document. The Marshall Roosevelt memo from March 5, 1942, claimed that 2 alien aircraft had been recovered after the battle. This headquarters has come to determine that the mystery airplanes are in fact not earthly, and according to secret intelligence sources, they are in all probability of interplanetary origin. This fake memo jump-started the belief of an alien visitation to wartime Los Angeles that has never abated. Still, the most logical explanation for the firefight is that trigger-happy servicemen and rudimentary radar systems combined to produce a false alarm. In 1983, the Office of Air Force History outlined the events of the LA air raid and noted that meteorological balloons had been released prior to the barrage to help determine wind conditions. Their lights and silver color could have been what first triggered the alerts. Once the shooting began, the disorienting combination of searchlights, smoke, and anti-aircraft might have led gunners to believe they were firing on enemy planes, even though that none were actually present. Interestingly, the US government used this same explanation of weather balloons to explain away the alien incident at Roswell, New Mexico. While it's likely that the Battle of Los Angeles was only a mirage, it was still a chilling reminder of the vulnerability that many Americans felt at the beginning of World War II. The Japanese would later hatch several schemes to attack the American mainland, including launching over 9,000 explosive-laden fire balloons, yet none of them ever produced the level of mass hysteria that accompanied the phantom shootout over Los Angeles. Even at the time, many journalists noted that it was fitting that the incident had taken place in the home of the film industry. In an article from March 1942, the New York Times wrote that as the world's preeminent fabricator of make-believe, Hollywood appeared to have played host to a battle that was just another illusion. And that concludes tonight's account. Interestingly, 2 movies have been filmed regarding this event. In 1979, Steven Spielberg released a film titled 1941, and of course, the more recent film Battle of Los Angeles, which portrays the event as an alien invasion. On YouTube, C. Parsons has put together a 5-minute clip of actual footage of the searchlights shining on the UFO entitled Battle of Los Angeles, UFO over LA. If any of you listeners have comments to share about this event or your own personal alien encounter, please email me at elvasalianencounters@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, and keep your eyes on the skies.